Hello. One person, all right. Off to a good start. Let's let some people join here. Okay, hello. So, welcome to my Instagram Live. First time ever live. Kind of nervous. I feel like my pants are going to fall down or something, so just bear with me. Don't judge me too harshly. I'm here to answer some questions, I guess tell you what I'm doing, which isn't much, but I will let you know what's going on over here. So yeah, obviously the reason that I'm doing this and that we're doing this is all the craziness and calamities that are befalling us in this country, in this world. I was talking to my friend last night, Eric Ozine, who sang for a band I used to be in called Redemption 87, and he works at a hospital, so he, was talking about going to work every day in a hospital, and made me realize people that are actually on the front lines, how crazy that is, and how lucky I am and people are to be able to quarantine at home and be able to stay safe. So any of you are out there on the front lines, thank you, and be safe. I'm sure everyone's telling you this, be safe, stay sane. Anyway, so, yeah, things that I've been doing. It's supposed to be 5 things I've been doing in quarantine, but really, I think I've only been doing 2 things. The first one is making music, which luckily I'm fortunate enough to do that in the space that I'm in right now anyway. So as far as making music, nothing has really curbed that or stopped me from being able to do what I love and do, sit in here and write music, which is just what I've been doing every day, and I do it anyway. So I've been doing that a lot. I'm playing, I've been writing. I got this here, which is all I really need. So I was sitting here playing this guitar, writing music. As you know, we were working on a new album, and that is finished. This whole thing has kind of made our future plans a little up in the air, but at least we got finished with that before this happened, so I'm glad that that's in the can. The other thing I've been doing is talking about dinner. I feel like, much like the rest of you, I'm sure, my wife and I, Marissa, we've turned talking about dinner into a full-time occupation. You start talking about dinner about 1. You finish talking about dinner after dinner. So she's got like a whole spreadsheet of all the things that we have to eat. She's got a perishable alert, stuff's about to go bad. So, a lot of strategizing about dinner, which is not a bad problem to have. But, so really those are the main 2 things that I've been doing. I've also been cutting my own hair with questionable success. Like one side keeps getting higher and one side keeps getting lower. I feel like the whole thing at the end of this is just going to be this like same haircut, but like on the side of my head. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I have some questions that you've been writing down, sending us, and I wrote them down. I wrote down some of them to answer. And I have them here, so if I'm looking down here, that's what I'm looking at. Okay, and I'm going to get to that. See if anything else I need to tell you about what I've been doing. You don't want to hear what I've been doing. It's not, I just been like watching movies and watching TV. Marissa did make me watch Sister Act 1 and 2, rewatch them. I haven't watched them since probably they were in the theaters. So that was an experience. And Scream, so like these movies from her childhood that she really loves. So, got that going for me. So let me get to these questions here. Are you tired of touring yet? I'm assuming yet means like after 20 some odd years of being a touring musician. No, I'm not. Touring is kind of like the reward. I sit in here, we all sit and do the recording thing and the writing thing and put that out so we get to enjoy the reward, which is going out on the road. And we haven't been out and we haven't played live together since Smashing Pumpkins, and if you know this band, we're not out there constantly touring, so when we do get out there, especially to headline, which we haven't done since the Blood Tour, which is insane to me, but it's just the way it worked out. It's I love it. I'll never get tired of it. That hour and a half, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it may be that we're on stage is really, I've been doing it for a long time, and it's never lost its appeal. It's never lost its allure. It's never lost that excitement you get when you're about to go on stage. Any musicians out there that have played live, you know what I'm talking about. And it's really one of the most fulfilling parts of what I get to do. Okay, next. Will you and Davey include Spanish lyrics again? I don't know if that means like black audio. I've always wanted to do a song entirely in Spanish. I don't know why we haven't done that yet. It'll be great. And Davey's actually speaks Spanish really well. I'm kind of rusty, but he is pretty fluent actually. So I think it would be either Black Audio or AFI. I think it would be great to do a song in Spanish. Okay, what is your favorite alternate tuning? This might not interest a lot of people, but it interests me. I like a drop D tuning, down-tuned, a half step. I first started experimenting with that tuning on Sing the Sorrow. I'd never written a song in drop D, and I tuned down to that, and I wrote Great Disappointment, and what was the other one that I wrote? Oh, Paper Airplanes. And I just fell in love with that tuning, and so and then December Underground, I wrote Endlessly She Said and Summer Shudder in that tuning. So ever since then, pretty much, I've written at least one song in that tuning. And I also, on Sing the Sorrow, came up with my own tuning, which, at least at the time, I think I invented because I Googled it and it didn't come up, which is DADFCE, which I call Dad Face. Dad Face tuning, I wrote a song in it that I really love. We never recorded it for whatever reason, but Dad Face, that's going to be on my tombstone. It's going to be my legacy, Dad Face tuning. Let's see, what else? What is your favorite song you sing? Singing is not my forte. That's why I'm a backup singer, not a lead singer. There's songs that I have fun singing my backup parts on, like God Called Sick Today or The Interview, which is kind of, daunting because at the end of that song, it's just me and an organ. So, it's kind of exposed out there singing that. So for all my off-key renderings of that song, I apologize. Get Dark is really fun, a new one we do to sing that. We all four get to sing. It's the thing I've always loved about being in this band is like all four of us, when we all sing, it's a kind of, to me, quintessential part of this band's sound. Okay, and Bleed Black as well. That's fun. Me and Hunter. There's a couple songs where me and Hunter are kind of the foil to Dave. That one and Narrative of Soul Against Soul and Black Sails, we do our kind of like low melodic thing, and then Dave comes over the top with the ill high E screaming. Okay. Was being a musician a first choice for you? No, it was not. I've been a musician a long time, but I've always wanted to be an author. Since I was a little kid, that was always my plan, my dream, my goal. Up until I got asked to join AFI, and I was living in the house with those guys before I was in the band. That was my plan. And so it kind of, I was a musician at the time as well, but it switched to being a full-time musician at that point. So yeah, that was always my plan, to be an author. I had a lot of short stories I've written, aborted attempts at writing novels, but I have to say this is probably what really I was meant to do. So I'm glad I ended up being a musician. Would you guys ever consider recording an acoustic album of previously released songs? I personally love that idea, and in fact, I would love to do an acoustic album of original songs. Over the years, Davey and I have written a bunch of songs that are great acoustic songs and never made it on any record, maybe because they were more suited to be acoustic, but I love that idea. I don't know if we'll ever do it because there's a lot that goes into releasing an acoustic album. But anyway, it's a good idea. Here's the interesting one. Have you ever considered playing in Tijuana? We've never been asked to play in Tijuana. We love playing in Mexico. Who knows? Maybe. I've had some wild times in Tijuana when I was a teenager. Not probably wild like you're thinking wild, but still fun. And I have fond memories of Tijuana. And I'm surprised I ever made it out of there alive. Tijuana in the 80s. Let's see. Who or what influenced you to play music/guitar? You're a badass. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. I really got serious about guitar when I was in high school, and I got mono, and I had to stay home from school for like 2 months. And I had a guitar, and I would sort of plink around on it, but that's when I got serious, and I had all this downtime, so I really started learning how to play and focusing on it. And I didn't really have any guitar idols. I mean, I love Robert Johnson, who's a blues player from the 30s, but obviously stylistically that's not what I do, so I don't know. I just kind of made it my own way, which I'm glad. I never took lessons. I just kind of figured it out, making mistakes and learning the fretboard on my own. I see someone just asked how much is doing. She's doing good. She's old as hell. She's old as shit. She's like 9,000 in human years, but considering she's doing pretty well. She's like going gray, which is funny. But it's nice to have her as a quarantine watchdog. Okay, moving on. What other bands/artists would you love to play for? It's strange. In all the years that I've been playing music, I've never played on someone else's song or album or anything. I've only played on my own stuff or bands I've been in. So, there's hundreds of bands that I love. I would play on their music in an instant. So it just has never happened. So who knows? Maybe in the future. What, in your opinion, is the most difficult AFI song to play on guitar? There are some that have some tricky/complex parts, like Endless, She Said, or Now the World, Great Disappointment. But it just makes them more fun to play for me. Some of the parts, if you're playing them live, those aren't songs that we play every night, so we're not as rehearsed on those, so you're kind of like flying by the seat of your pants, so it makes it more exciting because you're like, do I remember the fingering for this next part? And then you play it and you're like, oh, I did. Or I screwed up and then, I run backstage. Let's see. What have you been reading lately? I just finished a book that I thought was great by M.R. Carey, who wrote The Girl with All the Gifts, and the book is called The Book of Coley. So I recommend that. What's the newest project you're working on right now? I've been, like I said before, making a ton of music, writing a bunch, playing, composing. But one thing I've been working a lot on is I've been making music with a friend of mine, and she's got a really cool voice, really unique voice, and we've written a bunch of songs together. So I would love to see that get released at some point and come out. We'll see. Moving on. What's this flags? What are these flags? They're too small. I can't see them. Okay. If you could go back and replay any show at any venue, which would you choose and why? There are so many shows that I still think about to this day and were great. And off the top of my head, the last time we played the Palace in Hollywood, which was at the end of Art of Drowning, that show was one of the best shows that we ever played. It was incredible. Just the fans were singing so loud that they were, louder than us. It was crazy. The Nightmare After Christmas show in London was a really special show. It was really fun. The I Heard a Voice show, the show that was filmed for that DVD, I think that was the biggest headline show we had played, and it was just like, I don't know, obviously it was a special show. And to be honest, a lot of the shows we played on the Blood Tour, it was to think to be this far in our career and to go out on our newest record and have you guys come out and just it was, you know, the whole time and during that tour and after, we would talk about like, this is, you know, so great that all this time and we're still playing these shows that are so amazing and the fans are so incredible and the energy is there and it's working and it's, you know, we're so lucky. Really don't take it for granted. How did you become involved in the Freak Show remix for The Cure? I love it. Well, thank you. That was fun. I don't actually remember how that came about, but I do remember writing or emailing back and forth with Robert Smith and just being excited to be talking to Robert Smith. I've talked to him a couple times in person and always super intimidating because he's an idol of mine and, you know, and it's just, he's such a nice guy. And, you know, I remember talking to him, we played with him at Shoreline up in the Bay Area one time, and I was talking to him backstage, and he's got his full makeup and the hair and everything, but he's just so pleasant and kind and cool and interesting, and it's just really surreal to talk to him face to face. Okay, favorite Filth song? I think probably Lust for Glory. I mean, there's relatively few Filth songs, so, you know, I wish there was more. What's your favorite memory of the Phoenix Theater in Petaluma? Obviously, if you know this band and you know us, that's a very special venue for us. We had a ton of great shows there, but really, when I think about that place, the most special memories I have of that place is going to shows there. As a kid, that was the most important venue for me as a kid, and you know, a show that really sticks out is I saw Fugazi there, I think 89, if I'm not mistaken, but it was just rammed and sweaty, and the band was amazing, obviously, and it just was, it was a really good show, and so I'm really happy that that place still exists. You know, I hope that it exists for, you know, many decades to come, and it's really cool that Tom Gaffey is still running it. He's a real treasure to the scene in general. Okay. How do you maintain creativity when you've made so much music? You know, people ask me this periodically, and I think I just have a really strong, crazy compulsion to make music, and I do it every day, literally 7 days a week. I'm in here making music every month, every year, and when I don't do it, I feel strange. I feel like I'm missing something, even if I take one day off. So I guess I'm lucky in that way to be driven, and I don't look at it as a job. I don't feel like, oh, you know, we have to do a new record. I gotta like go in there and pick up my guitar or whatever I'm writing on and write new songs. It's just like, I love to do it, and I've always loved to do it. And, you know, being in AFI, having these partners to make music with is also special. I mean, we've been making music together for over 20 years, which is, you know, most people don't get that. You know, most bands aren't even together that long, and to still be able to be doing that with these guys is, you know, also something that I don't take for granted. Okay. Is LA more fun than the Bay? Okay, I don't want to start any shit here. I don't want to start any drama. It's really apples and oranges. I mean, I have such fond memories of living in Berkeley. I loved living there. And now I've lived in LA for 15 years, so that's a huge chunk of my life I've spent living here. Definitely different vibes. I gotta say, I love the weather in the Bay Area more because I'm more like a gloom guy. You probably wouldn't have guessed that. But this like sunny everyday thing is not for me. Like, I'm not into it. It's a bummer. And it's ironic because that's why people usually move here, is because of the weather. But when it's cloudy here, I'm just like in my element. I love it. And the weather in Berkeley was beautiful. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff to do in LA. I'm not a nightlife guy. I don't really like to go out, so that doesn't really affect me. Anyway. Still rocking Adidas? Yes, hell yes, I am. Wearing Adidas sweatpants right now. I won't let you see them because, you know, I want you to feel like I dressed up for this. Favorite hidden track? I have to say probably This Time Imperfect. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great song, if I do say so myself. I remember coming up with, this grandiose plan of doing that transition outro part with a spoken word. And, I wanted to be a spoken word part with like a child at the beginning, and then like a young man, and then an old man. And I got my brother Gibson to do it. He was, I don't know, he must have been like 5 or something. It was difficult to try to get a 5-year-old to focus on something. And it was very difficult to find an old man to do the old man part, but I love the way it turned out. So yeah, that's my choice. When is the new AFI album coming out? Well, it was coming out sooner than later, but we had to sort of rejigger the whole plan, which, an album is not important in the scheme of things that's going on right now. So it will come out when it makes sense. I mean, people probably don't want to be at a concert right now anyway, so, we want to put out an album and then not be able to come and play it for you, because that would be sad for us. But check it out. I'm going to play you a little piece of the new album. Ready? That's as much as I can play without people getting mad at me. So I hope you enjoyed that. There will be a lot more. So yeah. What else? Let's see. I've been listening to some music, a lot of music, playing it and listening to it. If you guys have any recommendations, I'd love to hear them, because I got time. I got time to do stuff. I got time to discover some new music. I've been listening to the new Fiona Apple album, as probably everyone has. Great album. I've been listening to a lot of moody stuff, because it seems like a moody time, and I've always loved that anyway. Like Ludovico Einaudi, Godspeed, Mogwai, Silver Mount Zion, Red Sparrow, stuff like that. It's probably not good. I should probably listening to some more uplifting music, but I don't know. There you have it. You know what also is good that I just started listening to is the Doom Eternal soundtrack. I don't play video games, so I don't know anything about the game, but I saw the soundtrack, and it's actually got some bangers on there. So, and the new Code Orange album is also really good, by the way. I'm listening to Girl in Red. Marissa turned me onto them, or her, I guess. So, let's see, what else? Anyone need any TV or movie recommendations? I don't have much, but I would like to get some from you, because, once again, there's only so much you can do in a day. I watched Tiger King, of course, like everyone else. I watched The Outsider. It's a good series. And if you need some recommendations, some good things that I have watched, Chernobyl was really good. That's really, I don't know, it's extremely heavy and depressing, so I don't know if that's something you want to watch right now, but probably the most affecting TV show I've ever watched. So if you want to go there, then do so at your own risk. And Pen 15, I don't know if you've seen this show, but it's probably my favorite show of the last few years. It's so good and so funny. So yeah, that. And okay, so how long have I been doing this? 23 minutes? I feel like I've been on here for like an hour. Okay, hold on, let me look at some more questions then. Did Carol Baskin kill her husband? You know what? I'm not qualified to answer that. If you listen to Joe Exotic, you might say yes, but I'm not going to stir that pot right now. All right, let me look at some questions here. How many AFI songs do you have in your iPod? Oh man, I've got so many AFI songs in my iPod. Let's see. Favorite anime? I don't know much about anime, I'm sorry. I don't want to come in here and just demonstrate my ignorance on anime, so... Can we hear about the ramp that Adam built? The ramp that Adam built, it's classic. He built a ramp, a skateboard ramp, at his parents' house, and it is like... I don't think he really knew how to make transitions, and I don't know if anyone's ever built a skateboard ramp, probably not many of you, but I have built and helped build a lot of skateboard ramps in my day, and this was a half pipe. And it's easy to make the transitions wrong and crazy, so it was like super steep, and it was very difficult to skate and very dangerous, But it was fun, and that ramp was classic. We had a lot of fun sessions there, probably skating terribly and doing bad tricks. All right, let's see. Will you please come back to Arkansas? Rogers specifically. I'll tell you about Rogers, or I'll tell you about Arkansas. The first time I played in Arkansas was on Warped Tour. First time I'd ever been to Arkansas. And we had some time before we played, so Smith and I got a taxi and went, because our hair was wild, and so we had to, get a haircut. So we took a taxi to just the first barbershops we saw, and there was two right next door to each other. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go on one, you go on the other, just so we can split our chances of getting like a decent haircut. And so we got a haircut in the side-by-side barbershops, and we came out and we looked at each other, and like, probably the two worst haircuts that have ever been given to two people in history. So my memories of Arkansas are very colored by that haircut. But I still, I love it. Kansas. Let's see. Any good memory when you were in Colombia? That was my first time in Colombia. I've only been to Colombia once, and that was a really fun, super energetic ride show. Colombia is crazy. I don't know if you've ever driven in Colombia, but it's wild. It took us like 4 hours or something to go, 10 miles to the venue. So the streets are on another level. And the mosquitoes are on another level there as well. But the fans and just the excitement for music there is, I would love to go back to Colombia. How's the process of writing and or brainstorming for new music with the band? Well, usually I'll either sit in this room and write a pretty fleshed out song, and then sit down with Davey and he'll hear it, and so because it's so fleshed out, he'll have a good idea of what the song's about, and then we'll work on melodies together. He'll bounce melodies off me, and then once the melody is there, because melody is king, kids, he'll take it and write the lyrics, and that's sometimes a process, and then other times I'll just have a guitar, and him and I'll sit there just face to face, and I'll just start playing, and he'll start singing, and we'll figure a song out. And sometimes it's like really quick and fast, and you write some of your best stuff just almost like it just came out and it was meant to be. And sometimes you have to like really labor over it, which isn't as fun, but that's the way of music. What else? When will they come to Mexico? They will come to Mexico as soon as possible, because it's really criminal how long it's been since we've been to Mexico, and we need to rectify that soon. Do you remember putting your foot through a wall in Boise in 2000? I do remember that. It was on the Rancid Distillers Tour, I believe. Yes, it was. And, back then, I still run around on stage, but back then I used to really spaz out on stage. And we were in the middle of playing a song, and I was gonna just run across the stage and run up the wall and jump off the wall backwards and just do some thing. And so I ran, and I put my foot to step, to run up the wall, and it just went all the way in the wall. So my leg, not just my foot, but my entire leg went all the way into the wall. So I was still playing the song facing the wall with my leg all the way in the wall. And then I kind of pulled like a backwards somersault move out of there with all the like drywall dust and stuff. And, I think I recovered well. Okay. Let's see. See, this is why I printed all these out, so I wouldn't have to do this, but then I got through them so quickly. Now I gotta look at the live ones. So just bear with me, please. Do you still skateboard? I do still skateboard. Not as much as I used to. I mean, I spent, when I was, you know, a teenager, I spent many years of my life, that was my life, was skateboarding. And when I went to college and started, you know, playing music, there just wasn't as much time to do all those things. But I remember one of the last times I was skating seriously, we were on tour for Sing the Sorrow, and I was skating around inside the venue before the show, and I did something, I tried to ollie over like a carpet roll or something, and somehow I ended up flat in the air and just like went straight down and landed on my back, and I thought, like, this is not a good idea. Like, if I hurt myself and I have to ruin the whole tour for everyone, my whole band, I probably should, you know, focus on one thing or the other. So someone just ask how Smith is doing and tell him that you love him. And Smith is doing good. He just sent me a picture of him yesterday with his quarantine hair, and he's looking good. He's looking fit. Hair, questionable. It kind of looks like a Civil War general or something, but it's not necessarily a bad look. It's kind of a Houdini vibe, so not a terrible look for him, but, you know, he's doing good. Someone else asked if Carol Baskin, do I think Carol Baskin killed her husband? Okay, what was it like touring with the Smashing Pumpkins and Noel Gallagher? Let me take less sip of water. Not that I'm gonna like reveal some insane tea about that tour or anything. So it's just getting dry. It was really fun. I mean, I had met Billy before that, and we had written some songs together, and so I knew that he was a really cool guy, really artistic, really intelligent, and so I was, and obviously, like pretty much everyone, I've loved his band forever, so it was exciting to be able to go on that tour, and, you know, being on tour with Noel Gallagher, who's a legend, was just some icing on the cake, and it was really fun, and the crowd was really receptive, which was cool, because, you know, when you go out on a tour, it's not your tour, you're just an opening band, people are there to see someone else, maybe they never even heard of you, they don't know your songs, but people were really receptive to what we were doing, which made it all the much better. And everyone at Smashing Pumpkins and their crew was really nice, and I didn't bro down with Noel Gallagher or anything. I was walking in backstage, I was walking into the dressing rooms one time, and he was walking the other way, and he like waved at me, so that was probably the only interaction I had with him, but he seemed very pleasant, very nice. New extremist music. Probably not, maybe. We got a lot going on, I'm sorry, between Black Audio and AFI. So, who knows? That record was like a special thing that we were in the middle of writing Burials, and we just were like, let's write a straight hardcore record, and we did, and it was kind of a spur of the moment. There wasn't a lot of planning in it, we just did it, and it was fun and really of the moment. So will that happen again? Who can say? I'm not going to make any promises. But I'm in favor. I'm down. Okay. I'm going to answer a couple more, and then I'm going to let you guys go because, you know, you don't want to hear me blathering on all night. Scott. Smith is constantly like texting me Michael Scott quotes and Michael Scott clips, so I know a lot about Michael Scott. Do you remember when the band came to Brazil for the first time in the Lollapalooza Festival in 2013? I do. It was the first time I'd ever been to South America, and it was really fun, and that whole tour was great. Johnny Marr was on that tour, which was a highlight for me. But yeah, Brazil was great, especially since the day of the Brazil show, Smith got a tattoo that he let me draw, and I am not a good artist, let me tell you. I drew a tattoo for him, and he got it there, and he probably wasn't in any condition to be getting off the cuff tattoos, but you know, it's his body. All right, I'm gonna answer one more question, and then I'm gonna go and talk about dinner for about 3 hours. Let's see, I gotta choose a good one since the last one. Any songs you wish you could change or regret making? I mean, to be honest, every time we put out an album, going back from, you know, Black Sails on, I always, when I hear it, I'm like, why did I do that? Why didn't I do this? How could I let that part go? Why didn't I fix that? I should have done this. And that's just the nature of me as a songwriter, I guess. So, which I think is good. I think the second you become complacent and happy with what you're doing, then you're not going to push yourself to improve and do better and to advance your art. So, I guess that question would, or the answer to that question would be virtually every song. There's always some way that I felt like I did not succeed. And I'm fine with that. I'm happy with that. So, that was me doing Instagram Live for the first time. Really any social media live for the first time. You know, I'm pretty new to social media. As you know, I'm trying to do Instagram. Not great at it, but I'm making an attempt. And thank you for watching me. I hope that I've illuminated some of these pressing questions. And anything else I need to say here? I think I answered all these questions, so I think we're good. You know this already, but be safe out there. Stay sane. Social distancing, all that. Love you guys. You guys are the reason that we've been able to live our dream for the last 20 years, and I never take it for granted. I know that I am incredibly lucky and fortunate to be able to do what I do, and it's because of you guys. And so take care of yourselves, and we hope to see you as soon as possible out there playing songs from our new record, playing songs from our old record. And yeah, so thanks for watching me, and goodbye. Jade Puget signing off.